Hi there, it's Kevin again. We are going to move on and do the Bottles on a Shelf card. Making spirits bright, happy holidays are our two sentiments from this stamp set. And everybody has a slightly different background paper in their kit. This paper came from the Tasteful Textures, I believe it was called, and there were some different wood and tile, but we didn't have enough to cut the same identical one for everybody. So you're going to have a different piece of this paper, but there's only one kit in your pack that has tile or wood grain paper. It will have a piece of this beautiful ribbon as well, 3 little die cut greenery things, and white card base, standard size white card base, 8.5 by 5.5 out of the thick basic white. I'm going to start with that and burnish it with my bone folder. There we go. And then I'm actually going to set that aside for a moment. What I want to start with is my piece of ribbon, and we're going to do some stamping on this ribbon. It is kind of hard to see under the light. I'm not sure that the camera is going to pick it up, but we did put little pine cones on the ribbon. And so from the stamp set, I'm using the one that's got a grouping of pine cones and flowers. And there's one large pine cone that's kind of off all on its own. And that's the one I'm going to use. And I'm going to use crumb cake. You could also use soft suede. If you didn't have anything like that, but you have a brown, maybe early espresso, but it's really going to stand out if you do. So you might want to stamp off if you're using early espresso. So I'm just inking that one pine cone, and I'm going to stamp him here on the ribbon in a variety of directions. Lots of this is going to get covered, so I really only need to do the far right end. And I'm just rotating as I go. Now, let me measure that up against this. I want to go over just a little bit further here. The rest is going to get hidden behind the bottles. Let's do one upside down here. Do one right off the edge there. One right in the middle. One right off the edge here. I'm going to go back and add a couple that go off the edge as I go around. So you want to do about half your ribbon. Okay. Then we're going to prepare our ribbon a little bit here. So you have little more than the regular width, and we're going to fray the ends. Now, I didn't have much luck when I did this once before, because one end they will knot up on, and you'll notice it as you start to pull. They come off one end very easy, but they knot up on the opposite. So I'm just pulling maybe 8, 10 of the threads out. And as I get down here to the bottom, if I pull too hard, all of a sudden it's just gonna all get in a messy knot on me. So I'm just gonna trim them off. Get them pulled out away from the other threads that are there, and then I'm just gonna get the snips and just cut that one little thread that gets in the way right there. There we go. And then this one I can snip off at the top. Yes. A better pair of scissors for that. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to hold that up closer to the camera so that you can see. So it just frays the end. Okay. Then I want to cut down my ribbon to the size that I want on the other end. Just check it against, should be the same width as your designer series paper, and then we're going to repeat and do the same thing over here. And this will be the opposite way. It's going to be the end that's closest to me that's going to let go easy. I think it's because there's a wider, tighter stitch along this one edge that finishes it all off. And they just get trapped in there. There we go. Okay. And then I just want to make sure I pull all my little ends out before I cut that last one off. There we go. They're just held on by one little thread. There we are. Okay, so we've got our ribbon. We've got our pieces. I need to go back to my bottles I did earlier. And I want my Evening Evergreen, an Old Olive. I want my short little Soft Succulent, and my Merry Merlot. So that only leaves us the blue one for our next card. All right. We want our designer series paper, and we want our sentiment that we're going to use, which is Making Spirits Bright, and we're going to stamp that in Evening Evergreen. I'm going to stand up for this so that I get it straight. And I'm going to do it up here in the top left corner. And this brick pattern will help me line it up easy. There we are. All right. Now, we can get some liquid glue and attach this layer. To our card front. This card is going to open up. This goes on here like this. Then we're going to do our ribbon, and did we use, I think we used Tape Runner or
yeah,
Seal Plus. This is Seal.
Seal. You can use Seal Plus.
No, I think Seal will work. And I think we chose this because we didn't want the glue to run through.
Yeah.
And so this is just going to go on about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the card. Again, I'm just using the lines on the brick pattern to line it up. All right. Then our Old Olive bottle. You arrange yours as you like, but I'm going to do it just like my sample card. So my Old Olive bottle goes on here. Just going to hold it down for a second until it adheres. And my Evening Evergreen one is going to go a little lower. Just to give some variation. Do you know what we're missing? We're missing our little circle.
I know. Did we include it in the package?
I'm sure we did.
I brought the...
Did I dump it out by accident?
I didn't see it.
Okay, well, good thing you're on the ball there with the punch and a circle.
I just hope we didn't forget to add it to the... because then they'll have to do more fussy cutting.
They'll have to do more fussy cutting. Do you know what? That's too big.
It's too big?
It's too big. It's one smaller than that.
17878?
Must be. Okay, let's do dimensionals on the back of our Merry Merlot bottle. And I'm using 3 because we've got that ribbon in behind too, so I want to make sure that it gets stuck down well. And he goes in at a slightly different height than the other two, and maybe a little more to one side than the other, just so it doesn't look like they're all in a row. Okay. And then my little bottle is going to get some dimensionals as well. Right over the ribbon, like that. And then my 3 little spriggy pieces here, I am going to put glue just on the bottom stem part, and I'm going to tuck that in behind, being careful not to touch my paper until I got it in there, and then push it down with my finger. And then I'm going to do the little one that goes in the other direction. Get in there. And then my Merry Merlot one, just on the very tip. Little berries. Need to pry my bottle up a little here. He's got stuck down. There. Okay. Getting sticky fingers. All right. And then I like to just lift up on those a little, just to give them some height. All right, we have to stamp our little sentiment on the circle. We're going to pause here for a second while we find the circle. So this is the little round Happy Holidays stamp. And forgive me if I get my head in here, but this is a tight little spot to get this into. There we go. Crooked as can be.
Oh well.
But that's okay.
After all the drinking.
Yes, after drinking 3 bottles full of wine, a 4th of whatever comes in a little bottle, and putting them on the shelf, we're allowed to be a little bit off. I'm just going to stick that right on there. All right. There we are. There's our finished card. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and forgive us for our mistakes, but we know you'll all have fun with it anyway. Thanks. We'll see you in the next video.